time of year, isn't it?
That's right. Canadian Music Week kicks off today, actually. That's true.
I thought I was close there. I wasn't absolutely positive, but hey, we're glad to have you back with us. And that's a great song you just did. Don't Drag Me Down. Tell us a little bit about that.
So that's from our last EP, Amends. It's a song that was actually featured on the Canadian Independent female website last year. And this year we have a brand new record called Sonic Boom that just came out on May the 4th.
Which we are going to be previewing in just a few minutes after we let you tell us all about what's going on. And one thing you mentioned there now, you mentioned something about about the Canadian music and a women's site.
Yeah, so there's the Canadian Music Week website. That is cmw.com, and you can check that out. And that's basically an international festival that's held for music in Toronto this year that focuses on artists, independent and signed across the globe, that comes together to create a conference to look at different aspects of how to promote your music, how to get signed by labels, how to do sync kinds of things with your music, and the International Women's Day website, which is where our Don't Drag Me Down song was featured last year as part of their website.
Awesome. And I really feel good because I made you dig into your notes there. I could tell you had to stop and check. I have to do that occasionally myself. I love it when somebody puts me on the spot and I have to say, wait a minute, let me check my notes here. Very nicely done, though. You recovered.
I had to dig into my brain.
You recovered nicely there. Now, what's the band been doing since you were on the show? You've done some new music, right?
That's right. So the last time we were with you, we had just produced our new EP, Amends. And this time we have a full-length album called Sonic Boom, which just came out on May the 4th. And this is sort of on the heels of our international debut of this particular album, as well as our coast-to-coast Canadian tour that happened just at the end of 2017. And we wrote this song while we were on the train from Toronto to Vancouver and back, doing our coast-to-coast tour last year.
Awesome. That is great. Then, of course, when you're doing a tour coast to coast, you have some travel time where you can sit and do some creative thinking if you're not totally dragged out. So I can understand that. And you did it by train? You did the cross country by train?
We did. It was actually kind of a trains, planes, and automobiles thing. We started off in Newfoundland last year, in the sort of the late summer, early fall, and we flew out to Newfoundland, and then we went to Ottawa and Toronto, and then we took a train from Toronto to Vancouver and back, and all the stops along the way. And we played in Jasper and Winnipeg and Vancouver. It was amazing.
I haven't had the pleasure of doing that. I've only been up on the eastern end of your country, but I have seen some of the amazing videos of the trains across the western half of Canada, and some of the scenery is just awe-inspiring. It's beautiful, and I envy you that. John Bon Jovial, you look like you've got a question.
Well, yeah. I mean, as far as the trains are concerned, Jackie, I know it's certainly not the country's national anthem, but isn't Gordon Lightfoot's Canadian Railroad Trilogy kind of the national song of Canada?
Yeah, I have to give you that. It's a little bit dated right now because we've had a ton of music come through since that. But in terms of train songs, yes. There hasn't been anything as notable since that time until now, because we have our song, Back to the Tracks, which actually talks about that particular flagship train called the Canadian, which is the Via Rail's flagship passenger train.
Sure. And that which leads me into my question of musically, what has been the influence in your life to get you to this point where you can sing about the Canadian?
Well, I grew up in a very small town in Alberta, and it's called Camrose. And in terms of Alberta, it's a city, but in terms of most places in the world, at the time you wouldn't have called it a city. But right now, it's a very small city. And from there wasn't a whole lot to do. I mean, you could take the bus to Toronto. That would take you forever. You could take the train somewhere. You could travel from side to side in Alberta, but it was just a lot of long distance stuff. And I remember a lot of the time we had to go somewhere to do anything. So we would drive to Edmonton, or we would drive to Vancouver, we would drive to Jasper. So we were very used to traveling, basically to get out of our little area and see anything from around us. So I was very familiar with traveling. My parents would take us, across the country, or they would drive down to Florida, or they would put us on a plane and we would take off to Europe, because there wasn't a whole lot to do in our little world. So where we came from, traveling was not something that was foreign to us. So to get on the train and to come out to Toronto, when I was younger, was a big
deal. Yeah, sure.
It was a really big deal, and it was something that we all wanted to do. When you live in a small town, even though you love where you come from, there's always these dreams of a bigger city. And part of our album is all about that. It's about breaking a band, and what are you going to do to take your music from the small town feel to that big city space where more than just, the local folk hear you.
Okay, I understand it. You're absolutely right. It is a big thing. I remember my first train ride as a kid, and we are running a little bit low on time. Just a quick question, since you've already answered what was going to be my last question. Tell us about the song Sonic Boom. Are you going to be doing some U.S. touring?
We are hoping to. Right now, we're just finishing up with a Eastern Canadian tour, which is going to take us through the spring and summer, and we're hoping to get down to the States in the fall. We've got a lot of college radio play with our new record and the last record that you guys helped us with, the Don't Drag Me Down song that you showed us, and Amends. But this new record, it's a full-length record, and we're hoping to come down to the States very soon.
Well, we hope you do, too, because we'd sure like to see you in person, and we hope we can help you out with this new song. Ladies and gentlemen, the band Across the Board, thank you so much, Jackie. This is their newest. It's called Sonic Boom.
Temperature rise, don't you try. Nothing's gonna stand in my way.
And there you have it. Canada's own Across the Board. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Across the Board, and also to our very special guests, the Manhattans, for a great show. Happy Mother's Day to all the lovely mothers out there around the world. We love you all, and we all remember our own mothers on this day as well. Unfortunately, we're a little short on time, so we're not going to be able to get Justin Bieber on today. John Bon Jovial, take us home.
Nor should we. Yes, sir. Hey, folks, thank you so much for being with us today. Be sure to join us next week for the David Bowers Awards every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern on WRFZ-FM. That's 106.3 Rochester Free Radio. That's right, free radio. And also on Blog Talk Radio, Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, and 6 p.m. Greenwich time for more great indie music and talk with the artists that make it all happen. So, until next week, for the David Bowers, Nick the Geek, I am yours truly, the allegedly legendary John Bon Jovial, and just want to say we'll see you next week right here on the David Bowers Awards.